Okay, so today we're going to be doing some winter sowing. Winter sowing is a really great technique when you don't have grow lights and you don't want to invest in any kind of expensive setup. You just simply take some milk jugs or other clear containers, soda bottles or clear water containers, those work too. And you're going to start by poking some holes in the bottom of your container. Now, a lot of resources tell you to poke maybe 4 to 5, but I'm going to say you're going to need to poke a lot more than that because we do not want drainage in these to be an issue. You're going to cut down the side. I'm using just a regular box knife, and you're going to cut this all the way around, but you're going to leave a little lip connected there on the edge. Also be careful not to cut yourself like I am doing here. Okay, so you see that little tab there? We've left that so that our top can be connected to the bottom. Now we're going to get some soil ready. So we have some pro mix here. We have some seedling mix. This doesn't have any fertilizer in it. This is organic, but you don't need to have organic if you don't want to. And what we want to do is wet the soil before we actually put it into the milk jug, okay? So I'm using a mixing bowl and a spoon, and I'm mixing the water in to get exactly the right consistency. The major problem you have to look out for when you're winter sowing is that if you get too much moisture into the container, you're going to have problems with dampening off. So we're going to do two things here to prevent that. First, we're not going to over wet our soil. You see how it's still dry? It's clumping up a little bit, but it's definitely not soaking wet. And then we're going to sprinkle the top with some vermiculite, so you'll see that. And now we're going to add it into our containers. This part is pretty straightforward. Now what you want to do here is, we don't need that much soil in this container. It does not take that much soil for seeds to germinate, so don't add a ton of soil in here. You're just going to be wasting it. What you want is a few inches in the bottom, okay? And then leave room at the top to add soil afterwards. We're sowing purple coneflower, echinacea today, and it requires to be 1/2 inch down in the soil. So we don't want to fill it up. We need to leave at least a 1/2 inch anyway. So here we have our seeds. You can see they're rather large seeds. These are from Seed Savers Exchange, really fantastic organization that saves heirloom seeds and keeps them for future generations. So you can see the seed there. Now we're just going to sprinkle it on top of the potting mix that we have here. So go ahead and sprinkle that over your wetted potting soil, just like that. Perfect. Now we're going to cover this 1/2 inch. Now, why are we sowing purple coneflower? Purple coneflower requires a cold stratification period in order to germinate well. And it's also a native wildflower. So what we're going to do is we are going to sow these up into milk jugs. We're going to put them outside in the snow. We're going to subject them to all the elements. They're going to be in their little mini greenhouses. And then when the time is right for them, they're going to sprout and start growing. They're going to know when to start sprouting. Okay, so we've covered them with 1/2 inch of soil. Now we're going to take our fine vermiculite right here, and we're just going to sprinkle that on top as well. This is going to help. This is our second thing that's going to help control the moisture levels. What we don't want is a bunch of algae or fungus growing on the top. We don't want these seedlings to have a problem with dampening off, but we still need to make sure that they have moisture. So those are the two things we're going to do to make sure that they get that. We're going to sprinkle vermiculite, and we're going to make sure they have lots of drainage holes. Okay, now the most important part. We're definitely going to label these seeds. And I like to write the source of the seed. So SSE is Seed Savers Exchange. Pop that in, and then we're going to close up our milk jug. We're going to tape that up. We're going to tape the sides down. Make sure that it's nice and closed. This technique is great when you want to sow lots of seeds and you have extra milk jugs. Let's find a way to reuse that plastic instead of throwing it out. Wildflowers are a great option for winter sowing. I've heard people have had success with brassicas and other flowers as well, especially flowers that need a cold stratification period in order to actually germinate and bloom. That's what you really want to be looking for when you are winter sowing. We're going to take the top off, of course, so that moisture can get in there. And then we're going to label it with both the flower and the date so that we know when we sowed these. Okay, let's take them outside. As you can see, it's a very cold, snowy January day. We're just going to put these in the snow and let them sit here for a few weeks. All right, I hope you enjoyed. That's what you need to do for winter sowing.